and also love, like, and also give me stars. All right. So let me see if I can add him straight away. So, oh no, he's okay. Okay, okay, I can see him. Invitation. Okay, so I'm adding him straight. Wait, of course now. Right. Okay. Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening. I don't know. Good afternoon. Good morning, anyone.
Well, it's still, I think, it's past 12 here.
Wow. In the
So,
morning.
yeah.
Oh, all right. Thank you
So,
so
I
much,
mean,
sir.
past 12, noon time.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no, no.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. Thank you so, so
My
much.
pleasure.
Thank you. I really appreciate you for coming. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, before we start, could you please, introduce yourself?
Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be part of this program.
Yeah.
So, my
You're
name
welcome.
is Nurse Ibrahim Wasil,
Wow.
and I'm a nurse. I work in the ICU in the United States. I
Wow.
am also a pawn perioperative nurse.
God.
So I have been in the US for 3 years now,
Wow.
and I also anchor program like this to educate people
Hmm.
on how to relocate to the United States. So we are on YouTube. We also have our Facebook page.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I'm gonna join your Facebook page immediately, and even your Facebook, because I have it in my mind. I'm gonna ask you that, do you have any page that you talk to people about relocating to
Yeah.
US and all this stuff? Okay, that's good then. All right.
Good. Yeah.
So thank you so much once again for joining.
You're
Thank you. I
welcome.
think you came from Ife, right? You
Yeah.
went you Okay.
From
Yeah, I
Ilefe.
think
Oh,
I've met you before.
OUTAC.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think
So
I've met you before.
so OUTAC in Ilefe.
Mm,
That was about 4 years
mm,
ago. I left 4 years
for
ago.
you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
All right, sir. Okay, so the floor is open to you. I just wanted to put us through. We want to know exactly what are the requirements. What are the things we need to do before we can say, okay, oh, I want to be a US RN. You understand? So
okay.
that's it. Okay.
Well, thank you. US process, it can be very cumbersome, can be
I know.
tiring because it's a
It is.
long process.
Mm,
Though there are different routes to take to achieve US, I mean, going to the United States.
mm,
So, and the first criterion is to have that passion, the
mm,
commitment, the faith, and
mm,
believe that I'm gonna go to the United States no matter what. Because I will
mm,
use my own experience, my own story as a case study. I
mm.
never planned going to the United States.
Wow.
I had a friend then who was telling me, "Come to United States." I said, "No, I didn't plan to go to United States." So US is not my way because
Mm,
then
mm,
I believe that people who are going to the United States, people who sit for NCLEX, who can pass
mm.
NCLEX, they
Yeah.
are very brilliant, they are very,
Mm.
superb. So
Exactly.
that is not my way. So let me just go to the other route. That is, my
Mm,
plan was to go to Ireland.
mm.
I so much devoted my
Oh,
time.
sorry. Please
Yeah.
continue. I'm coming.
Okay. So
Mommy, do you want me to
I so much
go? Go.
devoted my time studying for IELTS to be able to enter Ireland. So that is
Mm,
Northern Ireland. So to
mm,
the extent that I research everything about Ireland, how to do their exam, what to do to be able to practice as a nurse in Ireland. But
mm,
fortunately, when I did my IELTS, so even though I scored well, but
Yeah.
In the writing, I couldn't
You
move
are.
forward because I had 6.5, but
Mm.
7.0 was required to be able to meet the criteria. So
Then.
then I was like, so what will I do now with this score? I never knew about
Mm.
I never knew about US. I never knew about anything about US. So I now told myself that okay, this test IELTS result cannot just go like that. What can I
Mm-hmm.
do? So I started researching about UK. I don't like UK, but I started researching about US. So while doing that, I found out that my score was even above the requirements for US. And I said,
Mm.
oh, this is an opportunity. But the problem is how to sit down for CGFNS, how to sit
Mm.
down, all these processes. They were not clear to me. So I had to sit down to learn about those things. And the NCLEX, which is the almighty
Mm.
ocean to cross, then
Mm.
I just had that determination that no matter what, I'm going to
Mm.
scale through this. I think this is the time now to move forward because there are many challenges. And then there were many challenges that
Mm.
were moving me, that were pushing me. Number one, about the pay. Notice, I paid in Nigeria. Number
Mm.
two, how would I say this? The culture, the
Mm.
culture, in that is not trend, that is not in current. I mean, that is not in line with the current nursing practice.
Mm.
So then I saw myself behind because
Mm.
I wanted to do what is best. So
Yeah.
I thought to myself that okay, if you really want to do the best for this profession, the best you can do is to leave the country, go out there, and
Mm.
effect change that you want to make.
Exactly.
So, but while I was doing my research, I was telling friends about my score that if they knew anybody, anyone in the US who could at least give me information. So
Mm.
then I was knowing you doing my part time. I met a friend, a very good friend of mine.
Mm.
The moment I told her, she just picked a phone, called her friend who was already in the United States. So her friend now sent me that link.
Mm.
So that was when I joined Avant, healthcare professional. So I joined Avant, I did their programs. So through Avant, I was able to come to the United States. And I actually practiced for the NCLEX. But the truth of
Mm.
the matter is, NCLEX is not as difficult as people think.
Thought.
It's not as
Mm.
difficult as
Mm.
people think. Once you can commit yourself, you are passionate about the dream, and you can be patient enough because it is a two-way. The
Mm.
first stage is the credential evaluation services, which incorporates sitting for NCLEX exam. The second phase is immigration.
Mm.
That immigration can be very, very, very tiring because you don't know
Mm.
what the immigration officials will say. They may reject, they
Mm.
may approve, and if
Mm.
they reject, you have to start again. So it's a long
Then.
process. It's a long process.
Mm.
So maybe as we I will speak
Explain.
more about this immigration issues. So the first thing to have is commitment, passion,
Mm.
and patience. So the second
Exactly.
thing to have, I mean, the criteria is the experience. Because most of these hospitals require someone who has experience in acute care settings,
Mm.
especially in accident and emergency,
Mm.
ICU,
Yeah.
perioperative nursing, and maybe message. But they value people who have arrays of experience. I mean, who are multi-specialized or who are multi-focused, like they have worked in A&E, they have worked in ICU, they have worked in
Mm.
in the theater. So when you
Mm.
submit your CV and they see all those qualities,
Mm.
they start to hire you, They start to, you are their, how would I say, like a
Hot
big
cake.
fish, hot cake, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I advise people to be patient, gather experience
Mm.
first. At least if
Yeah.
you can work in A&E, if you can't work in ICU, if you can't work in theater, at least message.
Mm.
And don't just sit down. Don't work in a hospital that is not recognized. If
Yeah.
you must work in a private hospital, let it be an
Mm.
hospital that is well recognized. Like, you
Mm.
know, there are many hospitals in Nigeria that are
Exactly.
internationally
For talk of
recognized.
Lagoon Hospital.
Yes. So I worked in Lagoon Hospital. I work in Reddington
Wow. Even my
Hospital.
husband did as well.
I work in a hospital.
Mm.
So all those things might, present you as the right candidate for the
Mm.
employer. So that experience is very, very essential. And most employers or recruiting agencies request for at least 18 months of experience in acute care. And they define acute care, they define acute care settings, in areas like ICU,
Mm.
step down unit. Some may incorporate theater into it or PACU, while some employer will tell you that theater and PACU are not regarded as acute care settings. So at least if you have experience in cardiovascular unit or cardiac unit, ICU, A&E, and step down unit or coronary care unit, these are regarded as acute care settings. So maybe after having an experience in such, you
Mm.
can request for reassignment or reallocation or redeployment to ICU or A&E to gather more experience. This will portray you as the right candidate for the employment in the United States. But what I have seen so far is that they place more values on nurses who have coronary care experience or anything related to cardiovascular system.
Mm.
So the high nurses
And I
like
think,
that.
sorry,
Yeah.
I think people used to believe that ICU, and A and E is what they really want.
No, no, it's not
Oh,
that.
wow,
Even
wow.
if you go to their website, they will tell you what they
Mm.
want. A&E,
Mm.
ICU, step down units, coronary care units, even women's health, like
Wow.
midwifery, O&G. So it
Wow,
depends.
I'm about to ask. I wanted to ask
Yeah.
that. What about here?
So
Obstetric stuff.
these are the things so the second criterion is to have adequate experience in
Mm.
specialties or settings that are highly needed in the US. So the third phase is to apply. Now, this is in two ways. Do you want to use an agency or do you
Mm.
want to sponsor yourself? I have passed through agency, and to be candid, they are very, very nice, they are very good, But the fact is, some people may see it as modern slavery, you know. But to me, using an agency is not enslavement. It's not an enslavement because you have mind, you have eyes. When they send you the contract and you read the contract, for you to sign the contract, that means you agree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
Exactly.
it's not a master slave relationship.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it's a bilateral mutual relationship. That is, the agency wants to make money from you, and you as a nurse, you want to be a green card resident in the United States. You want to help yourself and your family to
Yeah.
have that residency, which means that once you get your green card, you will stay in the US forever without
Mm.
any problem. So it is a mutual relationship. The agency wants to make money from you. You also want
Mm.
to have your stay in the United States for you and your family members. And after 5 years, you have the right to apply for naturalization to be a citizen of US. So it is not an enslavement. So it
Mm.
becomes an enslavement or master slave things when the agency is telling you to submit your passport, that they will not give you your passport until you finish your contract, or when the agency is maltreating you or is threatening you. For instance, if an agency posts you to an assignment area, maybe they post you to um, they post you to state of Hawaii, but you don't like that state. Or maybe
Hmm.
when you get to that state, you go to the hospital and you find that the hospital is not, you don't like the hospital, you don't like the way people treat you,
Hmm.
you don't like
Maybe
the
like
way,
racism stuff, right?
something like that. You don't like the way people treat you, and you lodge a complaint that, hello, I don't think I can work in this kind of setting because I'm not comfortable working here.
Sorry, please. Sorry to cut you short,
Yeah.
guys. Please, we are going to give you time for question because I could see that some people are sending in their question. Okay, let's just enjoy this program. Okay, I will give you time to ask your question. All right. Okay, continue.
So, like, you know, they complain that I don't like this place, or maybe they give you a specialty that you are not interested in. Maybe you are an ICU, and because of something else, they post you to psychiatry, and it's something that you are not used to. Even though you'll be given orientation program for like 6 weeks, but despite the fact that you are exposed to the routines and the culture and traditions of things over there, you still are not fulfilled working in that kind of setting. And you lodge a
Hmm.
complaint, you tell your agency that I don't want this, and they are trying and they are trying to tell you that you have to stay there. If
Oh,
not, they will deport you. No one
hmm.
can deport you once you have a green card.
Sad.
No one can threaten you. Once you have a green card, no one can threaten you. So I have read many things online. Like after having green card, the agency are threatening the staff about the deportation. So you have the right as a green card holder to file lawsuits.
Hmm.
Because as a green card holder, you have the right. Nobody can threaten you once you have that green card holder. I mean, once you have green card, nobody can threaten you. I'm still coming to that. It's a long story. But what I'm saying is
Hmm.
that if the agency is threatening you that you cannot go anywhere other than that, and then if you don't want to work there, we deport you, you can file lawsuits. So in that case, they are treating you as slaves. They are
Hmm.
treating you as an entity. So that is not good. So in that case, it becomes a master slave relationship because you are not benefiting from the program. But most
Hmm.
agencies don't want to spoil their names.
Hmm.
So, like with Avant will be communicating with you every week to ask
Hmm.
about how you are enjoying the program, how you are liking the place. They want to know your feedback. So,
Hmm.
if it is something you don't like, they will reassign you to another unit that
Hmm.
that you like. So the second one is the third one now. After I've said that committing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry.
The first one is commitment. The second one
Hmm.
is experience, and
Yeah.
the third one is application. That you can use agency or you can self-sponsor. Now, in that third stage, if you don't want to use agency, I advise not using an agency if you want to write NCLEX. Now, because of the acute shortages in the
What
United
did you
States,
say, please? I didn't get that. You said you advise.
I said I advise not using agency
Okay.
if you
Not
have the
using it.
means.
Hmm.
If you have the means to write NCLEX yourself, if you have the money, don't waste your time applying to agency. You can register for if you want to write NCLEX, there are stages too, or sub stages. Number one, you have to do credential evaluation services with CGFNS or other evaluation companies. You can create account and pay for the evaluation. So,
Hmm.
but not all people can afford that money.
Hmm.
CGFNS now is $420 for
Wow.
evaluation. And the fact that you have to contact your school for transcript. You will pay money.
Mm.
All the schools that you have gone to. But the trick is that if you are applying, if you are using CGFNS or any evaluation company, if you have basic RN diploma, just put that one there. Don't add your
Wow.
BNSC, don't add your
Wow.
masters. Because if you add those things, it will cost additional money.
Mm.
Because they will ask you that where will you spend another 5 years for your bachelor after 3 years in school of nursing? It is confusing. So they will send you a message again to go back to your school to give reasons why you why you have to spend that kind of years. And
Mm.
for CGFNS to receive message from you to acknowledge your message, it takes them like 6 weeks.
Wow.
Imagine doing that. It's gonna waste time. So the best is
Mm.
just to use the basic. If you are a degree holder without
Mm.
BFN and you have without diploma and you have master's PhD, just put in your bachelor's only.
Wow.
Yeah. So now, if you are self-sponsoring yourself and you can pay for that NCLEX, I mean for that credential validation services, so that is good. But not all people can afford to pay that money. So if you are in UK, if you are in Ireland or Canada or outside the country, it is just a waste of time using agency because I think a nurse who works in the UK, in Ireland or any Western country should be able to afford credential evaluation services, should be able to
Exactly.
write NCLEX at ease because we don't have NCLEX centers in Africa except in South Africa.
Mm.
And
Mm.
now South Africa is trying to block Nigerians to come to their country.
Mm.
And the other places where NCLEX is written is in the Philippines, India.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
the money is a lot. So not all
Mm.
those can afford that kind of expenses. The flight, the hotel, all those things. Now that you are in the UK, you are in Canada, you are outside the country, you can write NCLEX in the UK.
Exactly.
You can write NCLEX in Canada. You can write NCLEX in any European countries. So
Mm.
I don't see any reason why you should still depend on using agency. Now, after you have done your NCLEX and passed, the next thing is to apply for immigration. That is where it becomes so confusing.
Mm.
You have passed your NCLEX, so what is the next
Yeah.
thing? Do you want to use agency? And because of acute shortages in the US, there are hospitals that are recruiting directly. So we have companies who are out there looking for nurses to hire directly without using agency. So the
Mm.
importance of direct employment, I have said that in my videos, is that number one, you obtain the same salary as the regular nurses.
Mm.
Number two, you have all the benefits as the regular nurses. But if you're an agency nurse, you may not have those benefits, those
Mm.
opportunities. You may not have those things. Like for instance, as an agency nurse, you may be paid like $24 per hour, whereas your counterparts are taking like $35 per hour.
Wow.
You know. So now, if you
That's a
have
lot of
yeah,
difference.
so if you have a direct employment, you
Mm.
will enjoy all these benefits as those of the regular staff. But
Mm-hmm.
agency, you need to work for them for like 3 years because the agency
Wow.
will be your employer, not the hospital. So now you have passed your NCLEX. Look
Mm.
for direct employment. If you're in the UK, you're outside the country, or if you are in Nigeria and you are rich, you have the money, just look for
Yeah, you
direct
can afford
employment.
it.
There are many companies employing nurses for direct employment. I've made that videos on YouTube. There are many, about 15 or 20 companies. So once
Please,
you are,
in between, can
yeah,
you please name your YouTube and your page on Facebook so that they too can join
yeah,
you? Okay.
the
Yeah.
name is a Davant International Nurse Consult.
Okay.
Yeah,
Davant. Can you
Davant.
spell that for us?
Yeah.
Because we can all spell it anyhow.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
DAVANT.
NT Davant
Yeah,
International
Davant International Nurse Consult.
Nurse
So
Consult.
yeah, so
On you,
say on
right?
YouTube and on the Facebook page. So the information are there.
Good.
So if you use I mean there are many companies recruiting nurses directly. I mean for direct employment, we have Connectics. For instance, a friend of mine just got employment directly to an hospital without agency.
Mm.
About last week, he called me that
Yeah.
he got an employment to direct employment with an hospital. So
Mm.
we have connectives, we have there are many, I can't remember, there are very, very many, there are like 15. So if you wish for direct employment, you can apply to all these companies. So if like five of the companies have interest to employ you directly to an hospital, you can now choose, look at their benefits, look at their
Mm.
offers, look at their pros and cons, and now
So the
choose.
offers differs.
Pardon?
The offers it does differs. It differs. Like it's not the same thing. The like for UK now, although everything is changing to in UK, basically you have a lot of people that will tell you, oh, I can give you 3 months accommodation. It looks somehow similar. So my question is it not similar for US,
Yeah,
the offer?
different hospitals or companies have different ways of attracting
Mm-hmm.
nurses. That is why
Mm-hmm.
you have to read their offers very well
Mm-hmm.
if they do offer that kind of thing. For instance, as a new nurse, as a new immigrant coming to the United States, you don't know anybody, you don't know anywhere, you don't know anyone. So they may put that in place for you that, okay, the
Mm.
first 2 months we will cover you, even though
With
it's
the
not free.
well,
It's not free. So that is why
oh God.
you have to read the benefits of each company and choose the one that is best for you.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
you can't allow more than two companies to file your green card.
Oh no.
USCIS will query it and cancel it. So only one
Mm.
company can file for your green card.
Mm.
So that is immigration. Now, in the immigration stage, these are the stages in immigration. You need to find an employer who will file your green card.
Mm.
So the employer will petition you for green card, will submit your application, I mean all these things to USCIS. USCIS will review the employer's application on your behalf to see if the nurse is eligible to work in the US. And USCIS will also want the employer to prove that there's no one in the US who can occupy that position.
That's
So that
mm.
means the employer must have advertised that position. So if there's
Mm.
no one in the US who can fill, I mean, what I mean by no one is that if there's no citizen of US
Mm.
who can occupy that position, then they cannot, put it out for other nurses outside the country to apply. So that is that. Number three is that USCIS. We also look at the credentials of the nurse to see if our education is qualified enough to to work in the US.
Very- Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they will also verify that the amount the employer is paying is not below.
Mm.
It's not below what is being paid, in the US. For instance, you you get an employment in the state of Texas, for instance,
Mm.
and the employer wants to offer you $35 per hour or $40 per hour. But in that state, in the state of Texas, just an example,
Mm.
the minimum that a nurse can be paid, an entry level nurse can be paid, is $28 per hour or
Mm.
$30 per hour. So, but if the amount your employer is offering you is below the minimum, USCIS will count that how would I call that?
That's more or less
Uh,
like a slavery.
a slavery, yeah. Or they call this something like a labor. How would like
Mm,
they will see it as something not appropriate that
yeah, it
mm,
is not
this
definitely.
and
It's
so they will
difficult.
not approve
Yeah.
that. They will not approve that application. I mean, they call it
Mm,
I something. I've forgotten that name.
mm,
I've forgotten that name. So so they will look at all those information that your employer put in the application. They will look
mm,
at the reputation of the employer. Is the employer paying tax?
mm.
Understand? So all
Yeah.
those things. So if the employer does not submit enough documentation for that I-140, they call it I-140 application, I-140.
Mm,
So if the employer does not have enough documentation to prove that the nurse the employer is employing is qualified enough, they will just cancel the application or they call it a notice of intent to revoke,
mm,
or they will send the message to your employer that they need more information. You can see
mm,
that will take a lot of time. For USCIS to even attend to your application, it may take like 8 weeks to 12 weeks. But your employer can expedite the process.
mm,
So if your employer expedite the process, it will take like 3 weeks to get the outcome of the application. So if the USAIS does not, or I mean, they are skeptical about the application, maybe they suspect falsehood or
mm,
errors, they will contact the employer to supply more information. So if the employer submits more information and they are still not
mm,
convinced, they will not
mm,
say notice of intent to revoke or notice of intent to reject, something like that. And then
mm,
once I-140 is not accepted or is revoked or is rejected, the employer has to file again, reapply
uh,
again, and that is taking, it takes a lot of time. It could take like
yeah.
6 months. It
Mm.
could take 1 year. So
That can even discourage someone.
exactly, that is one. Oh. But now
Mm,
your employer has filed I-140 to petition your green card. USCIS has approved it. So once USCIS has approved the I-140 to petition your green card, they will now send the report to NVC. NVC is National Visa Center. So they have offices in Texas, New York, maybe Virginia. I don't know. So, but they will send the report that this application has been approved. So now we are submitting this application to NPC for green card visa issuance. Now it could take 8 weeks or 3 months for NBC to acknowledge the receipt of approved I-140. Now
mm,
NBC has received the I-140, the approved
mm,
I-140. They will do a
mm,
second check to see if USCIS mistakenly or erroneously approve that I-140. So if they find out that USCIS erroneously approved that I-140 application, they will send it back to USCIS to review. And for that one to get back to USCIS, that will take another like 2 months or 6 weeks. So if USCIS is now reviewing the I-140 application,
mm,
they may say they may send a notice to the employer that notice of intent to revoke the
mm.
already approved I-140. And for the nurse, it will cause a lot of mental breakdown.
I'm telling you.
you know,
I'm telling
you know,
you.
because it happened to me. It happened to me. It's a personal experience. it will take a lot of time. So if you are not strong, you just forget about US. I'm
I'm
not.
telling
I'm not.
you.
So so ECLEX is not even
The
the
problem.
problem. Is the immigration.
Hmm. Wow.
So so people have smooth immigration experience that once the employer fights for their I-140 is approved, when it gets to NBC, it's approved. So once NBC is okay with the I-140, that is when they will now tell you to prepare for your interview, visa interview at the embassy and so on, go for your medicals, all those things. But like me personally, my I-140 was once approved.
Hmm.
It took like 8 weeks or 12 weeks to get to NBC. And when it got to NBC, NBC was not convinced that this
Wow.
should be approved. So they now sent my approved I-140 back to USCIS to review.
Hmm.
And when USCIS was reviewing the I-140, they sent notice of intent to revoke to my employer. You know, even despite the fact that my employer submitted the information, they revoked my I-140. So they had to restart all over again. So that took me
Hmm.
almost 1 year, you know.
Okay.
So if you are not patient, don't think about US.
Hmm.
Don't think about US. So that is immigration. Another thing is that if you have a B1 visa or if you have a visitor visa and you pass your NCLEX, so you don't have to pass through that rigorous process. Once you
Hmm.
pass your NCLEX and you find an employer, they will now change your visitor visas to green card visa. So that is
Hmm.
another a different
Wow.
application. Yeah. So
Hmm.
that is immigration step. So the next step, now that you have FBC has communicated to you about your interview for visa,
Hmm.
the next step is to prepare medically by submitting necessary information, medical reports, immunizations, all those things. And if you are married, ensuring that you have enough evidence to prove to the consular that your wife is your wife, your
Hmm.
husband is your husband, your children are your children.
Your children. My
So
children.
if you are going to for interview, just make sure you have your marriage party, all those things to show
Yeah,
that
the
you went
pictures.
to registry, you got married. Take along with you the this local marriage, like
Hmm.
maybe traditional marriage or something like that. Let them see that you are truly married to this person and these kids are your children. We have seen a lot where someone was trying to put another child who was not a biological child. They
Hmm.
got to the interview session and the counselor said that, "Are you sure this is your child? It doesn't look like you." And
Hmm.
she was so,
Convict.
confident that, yeah, my child.
Hmm.
So they now say that they should go and look for DNA test
Hmm.
to prove that that child
People are
was
crazy.
actually us. So anything can happen. So
Hmm.
the easy way to do it in this case is to adopt. When you
Exactly.
adopt, that is a good thing. So once your interview has been done and visas have been issued, the next stage is to mentally prepare for your new arrival to the United States.
Hmm.
It's not easy
That
coming to a new country. It's not
is
easy
not.
because
Is not.
hmm, after you get your visa, the excitement of coming to the United States, oh, I'm a green card holder now,
Hmm.
yeah, the
Hmm.
excitement. But
Hmm.
if you're not prepared
Hmm.
mentally, physically, it can be a bad
No, my mom
experience.
has it. Please go. Can you close
Yeah.
the door for me?
So it can be a bad experience for the nurse, and the person may even be getting that. Why am I even in the United States?
Hmm.
Because number one is that once you got even before you get your visa, once you're in the process of immigration, start preparing yourself mentally.
Hmm.
Number one, know that when you come to the United States, you may see some odd reactions from people. They are very
Hmm.
nice, they are very friendly. Like, for instance, I went to I went to a mall. I met an African American. So I greeted her that I want this and that. She was just laughing. She laughed for like 5 minutes. She was just laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. I was like, what is wrong? This is not a
What is funny?
African American, a black
Hmm,
American.
imagine.
So I was like, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? You know what he said? He said, your accent. Your accent. I was like, what's
Oh
wrong with
my
my
god.
accent?
Guys, like this program. Please show us, like, are you
So,
pressing
so,
share? Kindly help me to share.
so I felt like, oh, from a black person like me, mocking
Hmm,
me because of my accent,
imagine.
or maybe at work, you are speaking English, and someone told you that, you that have read for IETSO, that have passed IETSO, now, even
Hmm.
now tell you that your English is not that matured
Oh
enough.
my god. And that's what they don't say that here in UK, honestly. They always appreciate in
Yeah.
UK.
And
They
so
always
this,
they will even tell you speak good English because
yeah,
they'll be like, oh, I can't speak your own language. So
eh,
honestly, that's
but
what they
but
don't do that
uh,
here.
but it's not like everyone says that. You
Yeah,
know,
I know.
so
I
even among
know.
your colleagues, like someone would
Hmm.
say, "Are you sure you're speaking English?" I was like,
Can you
so
imagine?
so what am I
No,
speaking
no.
not English? So some appreciate that we are speaking their language,
Mm.
and some will ridicule you for speaking that accent, African accent.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that some people will try to mimic that accent, American accent. It will come naturally. But personally, I will speak like African.
That is it,
I want
my
them to
brother.
know that
I
I'm
cannot even stress
African.
myself.
I'm African. I'm here to help the nation, to help your country,
Mm,
because your country is in need of me.
of
So
course.
if you don't want me, that's your
Your own cup
yeah.
of tea.
So,
Mm.
but most times they are very nice. They are very friendly. Especially the white people will tell you, where are you from? And you say you're from Nigeria. Oh, I love Nigerians. They are good. They are
Mm.
nice. You know, you'll be proud. So prepare
Yeah.
yourself mentally. You may see all
Mm.
those kind of objections
Yes.
now,
No, there's no how
negativity,
you
you know.
there's no how.
Number one. Number two, I know it's the same thing in UK. You are coming to US or to other country, forget your position. Forget your
That's it.
class. Hmm. For- Forget your class. If you are an DDNS or ADNS,
Mm-hmm.
once
Mm.
you come to these countries, forget who you are.
That is
Because someone that just finished nursing,
it. Exactly.
finished nursing about 2 years ago, will be your
Mm-hmm.
preceptor.
Mm.
Someone just completed nursing 2 years ago, will be your preceptor.
That's it.
And you know how we both talk.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mind. They don't, they talk. And you may
Mm-hmm.
feel
They don't.
offended. You may feel offended that, why is he talking to me like that? Am I his mate? Am I her mate? There's nothing like that in US or UK or any other countries. You have to learn. You have to be humble. You
Exactly.
have to humble
Exactly.
yourself to learn.
Mm.
So
Exactly.
once you have learned whatever you want to learn after 1 year, now what I also say that when you are coming to the United States, forget whatever you have learned in Nigeria. I mean Nigeria's
Mm.
kind of work, tradition, not same tradition in Nigeria. Just put those aside.
Mm.
You know, come to UK or US, learn with no how would I say it? Reboot your brain. I mean, reset your
Exactly.
brain.
Open your brain
Yeah,
to
to the new
bring in
things.
new things.
And then once
Exactly.
you learn all those things, you now become, you have the confidence to do whatever you
Exactly.
want to do.
Exactly.
But
You are very
it can be very, very, hey, very, very
well.
depressing,
Even those skills that we have back home is going to help you a lot because
Exactly.
a lot of them, there are some things that you know how to do back home, and when you do it right, they'll be
Yes.
like, "Wow!" They will,
Yeah.
they'll just see that. That's it. But the truth is, a lot of things are different here, so we just have
Exactly.
to.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
that
truth.
is where humility to learn,
Mm,
the
mm,
patience to to accept insults. It may be
Yeah,
di-
in fact.
it may be direct insult, it may be indirect
Mm-hmm.
insult, it may be latent
Mm-hmm.
insult, it
Mm.
may be hidden insult. But
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that they are attacking you, you know.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. But you just ignore.
you just ignore for you to learn. Learn
That's it.
and learn and learn and learn. Improve yourself. Let them see that passion in you that you really want
Mm-hmm.
to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
after 6 months to 1 year, you are yourself,
Mm.
you are your own boss, you know. You
That's it.
you move along with them, you know, something like that. So
And you see these people, they
yeah,
they usually, trust us very quick. By the
yeah,
time they put into testing and they can see that, yeah, this person, yeah, they will just leave you and say, oh, she can do it, don't worry, she can do it.
you know,
But you see, at that first time, first 6 months, 1 year, you just have to learn, wash, because they're
yeah,
washing you. They're actually
exactly.
washing
They are
you.
watching you, and if you're not doing
Yeah,
well, they will not come to you and
they
say,
won't.
if you're not, they will go and report you to your supervisor,
Exactly, exactly.
and then they will come to you and be smiling at you.
Oh
I'm
my
telling
God,
you,
these people are
you
the
are doing well, you are doing well. Yeah, at their own, mind, you're not doing well. So you now see your
Oh
Oga now call you. Ibrahim, can you see my office?
my God.
And then so when you get to the office, someone reported you to me that you don't do this, don't do this. What is the problem? Someone that was smiling at you that you are doing well? You now feel
By the time
so
they tell you the person that came to report to
yeah.
you, in fact, you want to faint and say, eh?
So you have to learn. You have to accept. How would I say it? Mistakes.
Mm,
Learn faster. I mean, learn fast. Be humble to learn.
mm,
So
yeah.
another thing to prepare for is expenses. I've said that in my video as well. You're coming
Mm,
to a new country, prepare for expenses. Prepare
mm,
for expenses, but don't go and big bank because you want to come to US. But save as much as you can so that your first 3 months or few weeks in the US, you can cater
mm,
for yourself financially. You can cater for your immediate family members, and you'll be
mm,
okay. It can be very, very, very uneasy for the first six
mm,
months because house
mm,
rent, child care, all those things.
mm,
Very, very, US is very expensive. Very expensive.
mm.
Very expensive. So you have to put all this in mind. I mean, prepare yourself for them. So another thing is that hmm, if you're coming to US, it is very easy to be depressed in
Mm.
this country because number one, there's no social life,
Mm.
or I don't say there's no social life. There's social life, but no family support.
Exactly.
And I know it's the same thing in UK too. You are your own.
It is.
You
It
are
is.
your
Or
own.
your.
So imagine, I mean, it's not a routine that you go to work,
Mm,
after getting to work, you come back home, you eat,
mm,
sleep, the next day, go to work,
you go.
come back home, you eat and
Mm,
sleep. The following
mm.
day, the same thing every day. And now
Exactly.
have
You
like
do school runs.
you
You
now
have
like
children.
and then I know that as African or as a Nigerian, you don't want to work just 3 days in a week. You want to work overtime.
Mm-mm.
you know, to balance other things. So let's
Exactly.
say you now give yourself 2 days off. These 2 days off are not even enough for you to come back. I mean, to be energized, to prepare yourself for the next shift. So you now find yourself indoor almost,
Mm.
most of the time. You understand? So that can be very, lonesome and can be very depressing. So
Very boring,
now
lonely.
you are not married, you are just single.
Mm.
It's not easy. Oh. No one to talk
That
to,
one, eh?
no one to, or you're a single mother.
Hmm.
So, what I
Hmm.
advise people, if you know that you're coming to US and you are single, please get married.
Hmm.
Get married. If you know that you're a single mother and you will need help, adopt someone who you think would help you, or when you get here, invite your parents to come over. It's not
Hmm.
easy. Oh. It's not
It is
easy.
not.
It's not easy.
Without
Paying a
family
lot.
support, it is not.
And here, once you come to US, it will be difficult to even get someone to marry.
Hmm.
Because even in the US, we have a lot of single mothers. Single mothers are very, 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 very rampant. Only few are getting married here, and
Hmm.
divorce is also on the increase.
Hmm.
So another thing is that you are here in the US or UK, you don't even know who loves you in Nigeria. Okay, you see someone that you want to marry, you don't even know that the person loves you. Maybe the person loves you because of your green card. And then when you now marry that kind of person, and it
Oh,
comes to US, after 1 year and 2 years, divorce.
bye bye.
So bye bye. So a
Hmm.
lot is happening.
It
So if you are
is.
coming
You're
to
right.
US, prepare yourself in that area as well.
Hmm.
So
In
another
fact,
thing,
abroad generally.
yeah, exactly.
Abroad generally. Honestly.
So another thing to prepare for, another to prepare for is, what is your mission of coming to a new country? I know some people will come to the US and say, I'm no more going back. I'm Nigeria. Bye bye you. I'm not coming back again.
Hmm.
No, bye bye
Hmm.
you. And some will still have the mind of going back home. Maybe they want to spend like 10 years. After 10 years, they go back home. So whatever plans you have, make sure you plan well.
Hmm.
If you know that you are coming to US, make sure you plan well. I mean, in terms of investment, you want to invest. You can't be,
Guys, you are not
you know.
enjoying us. If you are enjoying us, please press the like
So
button. Kilo Shele.
you can't be
Press the
working.
like button. Share this program.
Mm.
I hope I'm going to see a lot of shares, sir.
So you
Please,
can't.
we are pleading.
So you can't be working in code,
Hmm.
working overtime. Distressing yourself, and at the end, the money you are making is stuck somewhere. You are not investing it.
Hmm.
So also plan that when you are coming to US, investment, investment, investment. Another thing is your school, your children's school. You have to put that into consideration as well. Your apartment you want to live, where do you want to stay? At least you want to stay to a place closer to your hospital, and you want to ensure that your school, your children attend the best school. So what we do here is that once you get an apartment, ensure that it's not far from your workplace, and look at the ratings of the school that the kids can, want to go. So if the rating is below 8 or 7, 7/10,
Hmm.
I don't think we should just go to that kind of school. Always look for a school that has a rating scale of 7 and above, or
Hmm.
a rating scale of B minimum or A maximum. So these schools are the best for your kids to go. And then you
Hmm.
can also consider, if you're a Muslim or you're a Christian, you want to see churches you can go, just browse. You can do all this
Hmm.
before you even come to US. Make your findings, all
Exactly.
those things. Prepare yourself. So
Hmm.
before you come, and if you plan to further your education as a new immigrant, I would advise that don't rush. Make yourself stable first for the first 6 months or 1 year. Then you can now choose the program you want to do. For instance, if you don't have a bachelor's degree in nursing, it's very easy to go for your bachelor. You don't have to have the money. You can go for student loan. After graduation, you'll pay in, small, small. So you can go for RN to BSM for 1 year program or 14 months program. And after that, if you're already a BSc holder, you can think of going for your master. If you are interested, you can think of going for masters in any specialty. Or if you don't want to even go into all those things, you can go to another line, be
Hmm.
IT, computer, all those things. So you can diversify, you know.
Yeah.
So there are many
Yeah.
things to do in the US. So these are
Hmm.
the phases, the stages that a
You need
nurse,
to.
an intending nurse wants to come to US, has to follow. But
Hmm.
the where the challenge is the immigration, not even the
Telling you,
airplanes.
that's what I wanted to say. That with all you have
Immigration.
said,
Hmm.
I think it is the immigration
So
aside, like, kind of tedious and
yeah.
hard. So
So for instance,
that means if luck play come into place, then things things can work fast.
you said what?
I said if luck come into
Yeah,
place, that yeah, you understand. So at
exactly,
least
exactly. So
wow.
um,
Not like UK that when you have passed your
UK
exam,
is very
even
easy now.
when you have passed IELTS, you are already in UK.
UK is very easy. Wallah, UK is very easy.
I'm telling you,
Very
and
very
that's the
easy.
reason why a lot of people are
So
coming in.
I advise people if you want to come to US and then
Mm,
you want to leave the country, go to
yeah,
UK first.
exactly. Just come to UK because
Go
a
to
lot of
UK.
nurses are even coming to US as well from UK. A
Exactly.
lot,
A
a
lot, yeah.
lot.
So once you
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
UK, you can now write your NCLEX, you know, you're already because the experience you have in UK will also help you in the US. You
Mm,
understand?
mm,
So and then once you're in UK, you can do your NCLEX, you can do your CS, and once you pass your NCLEX, look for
mm,
an employer to fight for your green card, and you are here. So,
mm.
so if you have done NCLEX, the whole process from immigration could take like 6 months to 12 months.
Yeah.
But if you have not done NCLEX, it could take 18 months to 2 years
Uh,
to get everything done. Even some could take like 3 years to
mm,
materialize. And getting visa interview and the visa itself depends on the priority dates. They call it a priority dates. So USCIS releases information about countries who are um, who are ready enough for interview. For instance, if you go to USCIS priority dates, just Google it. You will see the countries who are current. So we have countries who are current for visa interview. We have countries who are current for visa application. They are two different things.
mm,
So the countries who are current for visa application may not be current for visa interview. But Nigeria, I think Nigeria is current now for both. So Nigeria is current for visa application and visa interview. So if you are in a country or you are a national or indigenous of a country whose priority date is not current, that will elongate the process. For instance, like
mm.
India now, India or Philippines or China, they don't have current priority dates. So that elongates the process. But Nigeria, we are lucky, we are always current. We are always current. So that is the whole um,
Process.
process, yeah, to come to the United
Thank
States.
you
Yeah.
so much, sir. Thank you
Welcome.
so much. Really enjoyed. In fact, all this my jotting. I'll make video about it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, before we start asking people to ask their question, I have some questions to ask you.
Okay.
People say that they'll say, "Oh, is this state that is good for you to work as a nurse? Is that state?" So, can you just tell me, some of the states that you feel like, oh, it's best to work as a nurse there?
So we have to define what we mean by best.
Yeah, best in the monetary aspect. Owó ni kókó.
So, well, there are some states that are high-paying states,
Mm,
and there are some states that are low-paying states. So states that are high-paying states have high cost of living. For
mm,
instance, Alaska is a high-paying state for nurses. Hawaii is a high-paying state for nurses.
mm,
California is a
mm.
high-paying state for nurses. Maybe New
Wow.
York, New York too. Yeah, New York, New York. So low-paying states could be like what's the name of the states?
Okay.
I can't really say, but the high-paying states are those ones. So if you
Good.
Google it, we see in order of
Mm,
you understand. So Hawaii, Alaska, California, New York,
mm.
but Virginia, where I am,
Yeah.
it's not really a low-paying state, and at the same time not a
Yeah.
high-paying state.
Like,
Moderate,
like
you understand?
point.
Yeah.
Mm,
So if you're moving to a state that is paying high, you will
mm.
realize that all the money you are getting, you are spending it
That's
on.
the get.
So, California, a nurse could be paid like $60 per hour,
Wow.
full-time nurse. But look at the house expenses in California, the cost of living
Mm,
in California. the tax.
Mm.
So if you're not careful, you will spend all the money,
On those
there on
bills.
those things. Yeah. But
Mm.
in states that are not high-paying states, you can still survive. You can still live well.
Mm.
Low
Mm.
tax, low cost of living. Even though you are
Uh,
comfortable, you are okay, you are doing well.
yeah.
But you know, but for a new immigrant, don't
Mm-hmm.
eye those places first. Start somewhere.
Mm.
Start somewhere.
Mm. Mm.
So start somewhere. So after you have stabilized, you have know your onions, you cannot say, oh, I want to go to New York, I want to go to California, I want to go to. You can
Mm.
even decide to be a travel nurse, and,
Yeah, yeah. I'm coming to that one as
and,
well.
and make your money. So
Mm.
that's that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that.
Yeah.
Sir. In the aspect of travel nurse, because I think I've heard somebody told that the person said travel nurse is like agency nurse here in UK, right? Is that true?
Yeah,
First question.
they are agency, but the kind of agency they are is not for recruitment from Africa.
Mm,
They are
mm,
agency. I mean, they are
inside.
agencies for inside, for nurses who are already in the
Mm,
US, who have had experience. You
mm,
know, so they recruit those nurses to hospitals who need staff. Maybe an
mm,
hospital or hospitals whose staff are on leave or have retired, and they are
mm,
really short. So the request, they go to these agencies to be them nurses who have experience, who can work
mm.
with that supervision. So that
Oh,
is where travel nursing comes in. So
okay.
these type of agencies are not recruitment agencies from other countries. They are just
Mm,
for
mm.
within the country.
The country
Yeah,
now, I
that is it.
understand. Okay. And then what are the, well, I know one of the advantages is that they pay well,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that's one of. Is there any disadvantages or any other advantages that you can say about
Well,
traveling, travel nurses?
the advantage or advantages um, for working as a travel nurse, number one is that you travel wide, far and wide.
Mm,
You get to see different states, different countries, different cultures, different traditions. Meet people. It's like
mm,
tourism. That is
yeah.
one. Number two is that you have more experience. You know what is going out
Mm,
there. Maybe you have been working in an hospital for 2 years or 3 or 5 years. So when you go to a new hospital, the way they do their things is somewhat different. Or
exactly.
the acuity is more superior to where you are coming from. So you gain more experience, and that will give you
Mm,
more confidence. And when
mm,
you are writing your CV and you put that hospital in your CV, the hospitals here are graded. We have level one
mm,
trauma, level two trauma, level three
mm,
trauma. So, for instance, if an agency is looking for a nurse, a travel nurse to occupy a position, they may say that they need a nurse who has experience in level one hospital. So,
mm,
if you have worked in level three hospital, you may not be eligible to apply for level one because you don't have the experience. Even though, for instance, they will be looking for
mm,
ICU nurse to occupy a position in level one hospital. But you're also an ICU nurse, but you have been working in level three. So the
mm,
acuity is different. So if
mm,
as an ICU nurse who has been working in level three hospital, you now go to level one, hmm, where the acuity is so high, you
mm.
not really perform very well.
Yes,
You not perform very well.
yes.
So,
Even
but
the confidence is not going to be there.
exactly. So,
Mm,
but now you are level three, and your agency informs you that they will train you, they will orient you to work in level two for that position. At least you have the mind that someone will train you maybe for like 2 weeks or a week. So
mm,
after that two
mm.
weeks, based on your experience in ICU, for instance, in level three, you can
Exactly.
just quickly match up with
Grab
the
things.
experience.
Yeah.
So from level two
Mm,
to level one. So once you have level one experience, or maybe as a new immigrant, if you work with an agency, maybe like Avant, OGP, um, passports, all these agencies, and they post you to level one hospital, That is a good thing for you because you are already in a level 1 hospital as a new nurse in the US. So you will quickly build your confidence, your experience. So with that, you
Mm.
can work anywhere if you're a travel nurse. But your agency put as puts you to a level 3 hospital or level 4. So for you to see a travel nursing position that is recruiting for level 1, even if you
Mm.
apply, they will not take you. They will say they need nurses who have level 1 experience. There are also
Experience.
there are also travel nursing positions for level 3 as well.
Mm.
They will tell you level 3 can apply, level 9. So so we also have that for people who have been working level 3. So what I'm saying is
Mm.
that if you're working level 3 and you still have the passion in this profession, you want to move further, you can apply to level 2 hospital, then to level 1 hospital. For
Mm.
instance, a nurse told me that he's working in ICU for like 12 months. He applied for a travel nurse position in level 1 hospital, from level
Mm.
3 or level 4 to level 1 hospital. So the director of nursing service in that hospital, level 1, told him
Mm.
that he cannot work in ICU. You know, though, he's an ICU nurse where he's working, where he cannot work
Mm.
as ICU where he's going, that they have to train him again.
Imagine.
I mean,
Mm.
for like say maybe 3 months orientation
Mm.
to be able to work in the ICU. But it's an ICU where it's working, but the
Mm-hmm.
so the nurse
Mm.
okay, if you can work in a low setting, maybe like a message or PCU or step down, because they said that the step down in level 1 hospital is like
Mm.
ICU in level 3. That's what I'm saying.
Oh
So
my.
that is why that if you want to be a traveler,
Lots of classification.
yes, if you want to be a travel nurse, you have to know your level, the level of the hospital you
Mm.
are working, and if you're applying, apply to an hospital that has the same level, so that when you
Mm.
are interviewing, you tell your employer that you are an A and E nurse, you are a message nurse who are working in level 3 hospital, so the employer will know where to come in if the position is for level 2 nurse or level 1.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's another thing. So it
Okay.
depends on the level, the acuity. So,
Mm.
as a traveler, at least you must have worked in the US for at least 1 year to 2 years before you can travel.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is that.
Okay. I think this is my last question.
Yeah.
For here in UK, if you work as an agency nurse and something bad happen, which we don't pray for, you're on your own. You understand?
Mm,
Nobody's going. Like if you are working as a permanent staff, they might still
mm,
support you, things like that. But as an agency staff here, that's why when I go for agency job, I won't lie to you. I will even, I will not even want to go for my break because I just want to do everything rightly because I don't want to get to my house and they start calling me and say, oh, you didn't use it. You understand? Because those
mm.
people there, you know them. So how is it in US? Is it the same thing?
Well, it depends on the type of agency you're talking about. If it is
Mm.
recruitment agency, I
Yeah.
mean international agency who recruits nurses from Africa, Asia, Middle
Mm.
East,
Mm.
they
Yeah.
will cover for you.
Mm.
They will cover for you. But you are using agency for like a travel agency or PRN agency, like a part-time
Mm.
nurse, you are using an
Mm.
agency, you're on your own. That is
Mm.
why there is a malpractice insurance for nurses in the US. So they call it a malpractice insurance. So if you apply, there are many companies offering that kind of insurance to nurses. So and it's not that expensive. So as
Mm.
an independent nurse or agency nurse, you can apply for that malpractice insurance. So that even if anything happens to you, maybe from negligence or
Mm.
malpractice, the company, even if the patient charges you or the law says the court says you should pay a certain amount of money, that company will cover you up.
Mm.
Yeah, so that is why it is advised for any nurses going for travel or part
Mm.
time to
Mm.
have that
Always do
malpractice
that.
insurance.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's very, very important. And then
Oh.
it's not expensive. Maybe in a year you can pay like $100 per year or $200
Oh,
per year. So just to
oh, that
cover you off for that year, and then
exactly,
you can
exactly.
renew it. So like if you
Mm,
don't, if you know does not have my partner insurance and something happens, hmm, even the salary
hmm,
cannot even cover the charge.
indeed.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to use a lawyer or an attorney who is stand for you, and that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then the court
Mm-hmm.
may say the other lawyer may be saying that this injury that you have caused to my patient cost like $1 million, $2 million, something like that.
Hmm.
So where are you gonna see that kind of money? So just protect
Oh
your
my God.
because it cover your assets. I mean your
Mm,
license, protect your license. Do
your
whatever you
license.
can do to protect that. But
Mm.
that license
That is it though.
is your money, is your food.
It is.
Without
I'm
it,
telling you.
there's nothing you can do.
Nothing.
So
Nothing. It's our
so,
pin, yeah, pin. In fact, you just want to do everything to save yourself. You don't want any
exactly.
problem with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, sir. So my
You're welcome.
people,
Hmm.
it's time for you to ask your question. Please ask your question. Question time. Pfizer, please go outside. Go and meet grandma. Okay? And close the door, right? Thank you, my darling. I love you. Bye, bye, bye. Yeah, go and meet grandma. So guys, please ask your question. I think I when you were talking about those areas that they really want, that they really like people to have experience from, somebody asked a question. Nosola or Body, I don't know, maybe she's still here. She said, what about psychiatry?
Yes, psychiatry too is in high demand in the US.
Wow.
Very, very high, in high demand. So if you're a
Mm,
psychiatry nurse, but
mm,
what I've seen so far is that most agencies don't like to put psychiatric nurses in psychiatric units. They want them to
mm.
start with med-surg
Oh,
before they move to psychiatric units. But sometimes you can be lucky to work in psychiatric. But the truth is that mental health units and mental health is in high demand. If you're a psychiatric nurse, don't have fear. You are in high demand in the US
wow.
because a lot of psychiatric problems are so rampant that
Hmm,
they are even looking for nurses to cover shifts. Because I remember when I was working as a part time, I work in a mental health unit as a part time. They will even be begging you to come for work
mm,
because they don't have staff
mm,
to cover so many shifts. So they will give you incentives that please come and work for us, come and cover this shift. Are you available to work for us tonight? We add
mm,
money to your money. We give you incentive. So
mm,
if you think you want to do it, go and do it. So
mm.
they are in high demand. I mean,
Man.
that psychiatry is in high demand.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Okay. So
yeah,
I hope she's, if not, you. Okay, so do you
yeah.
have any other question, my people, so that I can leave Mr. Ibrahim to go? Please, question time. You guys will not ask question now. Hmm? Ask your question, please. And another person asks, because when you were talking about the sponsorship, agency stroke, if you want to sponsor yourself,
Yeah.
but I think you have answered that anyway. The person was saying, if she decides to sponsor herself, how is she going to go through it? I think you have
Yeah,
already
yeah,
said that.
yeah. There are many ways you can go about that if you want to sponsor yourself.
Mm.
Number one
Please send your questions in.
number one is that getting visa to write the NCLEX in the country. For instance, you want to go to Philippines, you have to apply for visa. You want to go to India to write NCLEX, you have to apply for visa. Even South Africa, you have to apply for visa. But if you can go to UK or Canada or anywhere as a visitor, maybe you apply for a tourist visa or a visitor visa. So
Mm.
I don't know how much must they give them for
Somebody
UK.
is greeting you here, Nurse Ibrahim. Oni Ito Atinuke Bali.
How are you,
Go
Oniyito?
and meet grandma. Easy. Mhm.
I'm greeting you
Yeah,
from
send.
here too, Oniyito. How are you? So, but what I advise people is that, like I just posted on my page, that if you want to write NCLEX, why don't you try UK? apply for B1 visa, or if you have
Mm.
someone that can invite you to UK,
Mm.
understand? Even to US, you can come to US as a visitor, you can go to UK as a visitor. So while you are in UK as a visitor, you can write your NCLEX. But you don't have to tell the consular that you are coming to UK or to US to get NCLEX. They will not give you a
Mm.
visa. But you are coming to UK or US for tourism. So, for
Mm.
instance,
Mm.
now for US, they can still give you 2 years visa.
Wow.
So within those 2 years, you can read for your NCLEX, but you cannot work. Oh. You cannot work as a
Mm.
visitor. So within those 2 years, you can read for your NCLEX and pass. And once you pass your NCLEX, then the employer will see how to change your visa to green card visa. So,
Mm.
so like we now, we can help to provide support documents to help with your visa. If you are applying for a B1 visa to US or to UK, we can assist nurses who are interested with support documents. Maybe they were looking for bank statements. We will act as if we are the ones sponsoring you for that
Mm.
conference. Another thing is a conference. Like if you want to attend conference, there are many conferences in the US, even in the UK, that you can attend. That
Can you see any question from your side, sir? I think it's not showing on the. Oh no, what's
uh,
going?
I can see some questions here.
Oh, good. Me, I
So
can't. Just try and answer them when you finish with that,
yeah, good
please.
evening, ma. Miss Aide Bino. Good evening, ma.
Eh.
Well done, ma. So you know, and like there are many conferences in the US that you can attend, even in the UK. So if you apply for those conferences, you'll be given B1 or B2 visa, and that
Hmm.
visa can still be valid for 2 years. So within those 2 years, you can get your NCLEX and
Hmm.
pass. But the only thing is that you cannot work with that kind of visa. So some people
Hmm.
just come to US, spend like a month, go back to Nigeria, then come back again, so and
Later.
forth. So that is
Hmm.
one way to get to US or UK if you want to get NCLEX. Go for conferences. Use that conference as a camouflage, but you know why you are going there. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
once you get there, you can now get your NCLEX and that. Or if
Mm.
you have someone that can invite you as friends or as a family member to US or to UK,
Mm. So.
and the person is ready to give you support documents, that's another way to go about it. So yeah, you can just go
Mm.
there as a visitor, then write your NCLEX. So you are using one stone to kill two birds. And then if you are not interested to go to UK as a visitor or to US as a visitor, you can go to India. You can apply for
Mm.
visa to India for tourism. You can go to Philippines for tourism. The essence is that once you're in those countries, do your NCLEX. Don't waste money. Just go in there
Exactly.
for leisure and come back again.
Mm.
Do your
Mm.
NCLEX while you are in those countries, but don't go for interview and tell consular that I'm going to UK, to US, to Philippines because I want to get NCLEX. They will not give you the visa because they are saying they will think that why UK, why US, why not go to another country? Why are you interested in US
Mm.
for NCLEX?
Mm.
So, and then for you to even apply for these visas, you must convince the consulate that you have commitment in Nigeria. So
Mm.
nurses have the opportunities to apply for visa, whether B1 visa to US, because number one, they have full-time job. That is one commitment. They say that you are working in the teaching hospital, you are working in a state hospital, you are working in a good hospital. That is a full time. So, and your employer approves your leave of absence or leave. Maybe you are using your leave, and you have family in Nigeria, so they will think that this person cannot run away. At least he has job in Nigeria, he has wife in Nigeria, he has kids in Nigeria, he even has businesses that he's doing. So this one is not gonna be a burden on us or to us. So
Mm.
you just want to spend like
Mm.
2 weeks, then go back to Nigeria. But you know
Mm.
why you are
You are going
coming here.
exactly.
So that is
Exactly.
that.
Mm. Can you see their question? I think we have
Uh
loads of questions
let me
here.
see from the
Well
beginning.
done, sir. You're doing well. This issue about sponsorship, how genuine is that of the US? That's a question from Ibrun Keshonubi.
The sponsorship is real.
Hmm.
It is very, very real in the sense that, like Avant. It's real. I went with Avant. Ogradi is real. Passport, and many of these agents, there are many, many. So they are very real. But the problem nurses are making is that
Hmm.
they are using middlemen. Hmm. I have seen people who sent messages that they are planning to go to US, and there's a there's a guy that is acting as a middleman. So
Hmm.
the guy will be interacting with the agency
Hmm. Hmm.
and be interacting with the nurses, and the nurses don't even know the name of the agency.
Hmm.
They don't even know the name of the agency. So the guy will collect money from the nurses to
Hmm.
help them
Hmm.
register for CES with CGFNS. He will not give the nurses the login information to access the CES.
Imagine,
So the
imagine.
advice is that seek information before you start
That is
applying.
it.
Don't use
You cannot
middlemen.
imagine.
Yeah.
OET, people were duping
Hmm.
nurses. OET money. They were collecting money from them. And they did not actually help them to register. Because, see, nurses, I want you to know something. People believe we have money.
Hmm.
Even when, yeah, Nigerian nurses say, yeah, yeah. And we know that how much are we collecting? We have a lot of bills to pay. We have everything.
Yeah.
Even back home, they believe we have money. So when they
Hmm.
see nurses, the first thing that comes to their mind is how they are going to scam you.
Yeah.
Please don't do anything that you don't know much about. It is better for you to seek for information. It is very, very, and that is the reason why we are out there to help you.
Exactly.
Even if we don't know, we'll find
Yeah.
out for you, we'll tell you what to
Exactly.
do. Please. I was so annoyed that when the two people they told me that they duped them.
A lot of nurses have been duped. Like for instance,
Ah,
some people just come from nowhere and say, "Come and study for NCLEX for 1 week," and you
imagine.
pass your NCLEX not like that. 1 week.
Hmm.
Some will even say 3 days. And then we ask the nurses to pay like 20,000 naira, 150K.
Hmm.
And then some will even say that once you pass your NCLEX, you're going to US straight. They
Imagine.
won't tell them the processes involved in immigration.
Mm-hmm.
So many nurses believe
Mm-hmm.
that once they pass NCLEX, the next thing is to land in the US. No. So
Oh my
they
God.
won't tell them
I know
because
a
of
lot
the
of
money they
people
want to
that have
receive.
that in their mind.
So
They will come now.
yeah, so if you want to do this process, use the right channel. These
Mm.
agencies have their websites on the internet. Avant, Ogradi, there are many of them. Just contact them. Check the link, the website. They are there. But the problem now
Sorry.
is that these agencies are becoming reluctant to recruit from Nigeria.
Mm.
For instance, personally, I have sent many nurses to Avant, to OGP. They will just tell them at present they are not. They will find one excuse.
Mm.
But these agencies, they are going to Philippines to recruit Filipinos.
Wow.
Yeah, they are going to other countries to recruit nurses. But when it comes to Nigeria or Africa or Nigeria to be precise, they will tell you they go and write NCLEX. Once you pass NCLEX,
Mm.
they can. So that's why I'm
Mm.
saying that if you have the money, don't use agency, just go and do it yourself. Because
Mm.
it can be very frustrating applying to any agencies and they're saying that you don't meet the criteria to be
And
considered. It can be very frustrating.
yes.
So, because now I think they are focusing on Filipinos and other places, but Nigeria they have that short. I mean, they have narrow chance. I mean, chances to be recruited. So, but if you have passed NCLEX,
Mm.
you have the chance to be employed. Once you have
Mm.
your NCLEX, that means you have done half of the job. So
Exactly.
the agencies will be looking for you. But at that time, don't use agency. Go for direct
Mm.
employment.
Do it yourself.
Go for direct
Mm.
hire. Don't use agency again. So it's like you are punishing yourself. You spend
Mm.
money to write NCLEX, all the
Exactly.
expenses, and after passing NCLEX, you are still using agency. No,
Mm.
don't do that. Just go for direct employment. There are many companies who are giving direct employment to nurses. So that's it.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
for that. I think we have another question. This is
Yeah.
Bam Boss. She said, "Is it possible for a nurse to relocate to UK with with, or maybe she meant with or without a relative over there. Of course, because if you have passed your exam, they've given you an employer has employed you. Definitely, they will give you accommodation, at least even if it's just 2 or 3 months, because everything is reducing now. But yeah, and then later, maybe after 3 months that you have passed your OSCE, you can then tell your family to come and join you. Okay, I think I've answered that. Let's answer US question. I answer lady. Okay, I think this person knows you, Shola Abiodun.
That's
He
my
said
girl.
was,
That's my
oh,
that's my
can
girl.
you
That's
imagine?
for the DNS.
And she's such a lovely person. She's my supporter.
Yeah.
Eh?
So
Thank you so much, ma.
thank you, man.
Thank you, ma. I think, yeah, Opabode, please, how is healthcare service and maternity leave for nurses? One day, oh, I want you have, I want you
Is it in UK or US?
US. She's referring to
Okay.
you. Yeah,
Number one is I don't know much about maternity service because I
yeah,
don't
of
know
course.
about that. But for healthcare service, healthcare service is super expensive.
Hmm,
Very, very, very expensive. Hmm.
hmm,
Imagine a staff who has headache, just headache,
hmm.
and he goes to A&E to be seen, and they're charging her $10,000. That's
Hey,
like
hey,
7 million naira here in Nigeria.
ten
Just-
thousand dollars.
yeah, without insurance.
Hi.
So even with insurance, hmm, even with insurance, okay. I remember when I went to, I was having like, maybe chest tightness. I don't know. So and then it was normal for me to go away, and the nurse say, "Oh no 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 no, yeah yeah yeah." Yeah. I was taking,
When that's what they used to do. They want to do everything.
I was taking to
Even if you have chest pain, they will do ECG.
yeah,
This
I was taking to A&E. I was this is not serious. I was taking to A&E. They collected blood samples. They did
hmm.
EKG. They did everything with insurance. So I have my insurance. So and I saw
Oh.
my bills. I was like,
Hmm.
I was feeling like $5,000. They will not give you
Hmm.
option that that you don't have to pay at once. You can pay. I was like, what did I do? So I had to pay for like 1 year.
My
You know,
God.
so healthcare service
You
is
even tried me. I'll pay it for 3 years.
so. Hmm, healthcare service is not my money
Ah,
here.
five
It's
thousand
very
pounds. I
so.
mean
I tell
dollars.
people that some people have asked me that which one is better, UK or US? I would say that it
Hmm.
depends on your preference.
That's it. That is
I
just
know
it.
that UK, I learned that healthcare is free. So if you and your family don't have health issues,
Hmm.
you don't visit hospital regularly. I mean, you don't have visit to this hospital. You are
Hmm.
okay. Then US may be okay. But if you and your family members have health issues that we want you to be visiting hospital regularly. Maybe, for
Hmm.
instance, you have a sickle cell patient or you have someone
Hmm.
with some kind of
Yeah.
condition. Please stay
Yeah.
in UK and enjoy that free health.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it depends on the preferences.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a very
Hmm.
valid and good point. Thank you, Nosola Okpabode, for that question. I didn't even remember to ask that. But I know already that they said healthcare is expensive.
Yeah,
I know,
very
but I
expensive.
know
Very expensive.
it's expensive.
For instance,
Imagine 5,000, even with insurance.
yeah, for instance,
Ah,
if you have a
that's too much.
pregnant woman without insurance, going for a delivery, maybe you want to deliver a baby, the price could be up to $50,000.
Eh,
Or going for a CS, surgery is hot cake here. Surgery, the surgeons are making money, the hospitals making money. A lot of like if like in Nigeria where I work in HSC, if you want to do hip arthroplasty, hip replacement, the highest I've had for the surgery is 2 million or 1.5 million. And come and
hmm.
see the way we're preparing the suit for that surgery, like if we are doing a kind of party, and we'll be preparing the suit for the patient.
That
The surgeons
exactly.
will be on their feet. The nurses will be working just to make sure that the surgeries, and the amount is like 2M. Even
Mm.
that 2M, 2 million naira at HSC, not all can afford it. But in the
Hmm.
US, I have seen patients use their life savings for
Hmm.
medical conditions, use their retirement savings for medical condition because it's very expensive. And then not
Hmm.
all Americans or residents are covered by insurance. Sometimes you may have insurance in the US and you get to the hospital and they will tell you that you are not covered. This insurance does not cover this. So you have to pay out of
Hmm.
pocket. So
Hmm.
it's not a small thing in the US.
Hmm.
So what I would just tell people is that make sure you take care of yourself, eat very well, don't
Hmm.
overstress.
Hmm.
If you are in the winter season, don't be stingy turning on that heat.
Eater.
Please,
Oh my
on
God.
it. Maybe you will pay, on it. But if you are,
Abio.
if you are afraid that the bill will increase with that heater, what if you fall sick and you are taken to the emergency and they are billing you all kind of money?
Hmm.
So it's a challenge in the US. Healthcare is a
No.
challenge, big
It
challenge.
is. It is. It is.
So,
Okay.
so you have to have
Thank
insurance. Once you come to US, make sure you are insured. You are
you.
insured for you and your family, so that even if you have to go to hospital, you will pay they call it copay. You will pay some amount of pocket. Sometimes you may not even pay anything. Like if you are going for immunization, for health checkup, like if you have kids that are going to school, and the school requests that they have to see a doctor or a physician or pediatrician to do physical examination. So if you don't have insurance, you have to pay out of pocket, which may be expensive. So with
Mm,
insurance, you will not even pay anything. So that is
mm,
that, yeah.
mm. Okay, thank you, sir.
Um,
Mommy Rachel Afwakwe, she's asking. She said, "What is the age limit of employment?"
well, according to US law,
Mm,
for instance, if high school now, once you are a high school graduate, you can work. Like you just finished your grade 10. I don't know what they call it here. Like SS3 now.
mm,
So in the US, you just completed your high school. You can work. You can look for sake of employment. And then that is the age of 15, 16, 14. So there's no maximum age that cannot make you to work in the US. Understand?
mm.
We still have people are 70 years old still working, 75
As
years
soon as
old
you
still
have a
working,
job.
80 still working. Even in the hospital, we still have nurses who are old nurses. I mean, they are like 65, 70. They are still active,
Mm, mm-hmm,
still working. And
mm,
so there's no age limit for nurses to work in the US. But the problem is that some employers, when they want to recruit for a position, they may consider age. And so this person age or his age is like maybe you are 65 and you're applying for a position. They may say, you will not have that strength
mm,
to do that kind of job. So they will not give you that job. But if it
mm.
is a how would I call it? Like administrative post, like administrator, nurse director, assistant director of nursing, nurse manager, charge nurse. They can still consider people who are 60 and above to occupy because they have experience, to man that position. So,
Mm.
yeah,
All right, thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
Nigerians ti bojú wọn jẹ́ nìyẹn o. Okay.
Yes, but the sponsorship that the agents don't want to, and I would, I will agree with him because when nurses, eh, let's say African nurses generally, Kenyan
Mm,
nurses, Nigerian nurses, when they come to the US with an agency, after 3 or 6 months, they'll just end their contract. They'll reach their counter and say,
They
I'm
don't
not,
follow why.
I'm not,
Follow like that.
I don't want to go on with this contract again. So they just not
Mm,
tell you to pay the damages.
mm,
Like they may charge you $25,000. They may say you should pay $30,000 to cover up the expenses. And I've seen
mm,
some nurses who sued their agency for overcharging them, you know,
mm,
because how much did you spend on me? Okay,
mm.
So, but I think these experiences make agencies to
Them
direct their
that
focus, you know. But let
see
me
you
tell
are
you
very.
that.
There's something that happened here in UK. Let me just keep that
Okay.
in. There's this lady, she's an agency nurse, and then I think she did not know that she's gonna work, a permanent job. She didn't know she's gonna work on that day, and so she has been booked for an agency work for that same day.
Hmm.
So at least when you know that your permanent job is very, very important, right? So what I think she should do is that she can just call the agency and say, okay, I won't be available again. And then agency nowadays they will just call someone, the person will go and cover the shift. You know what she did?
Yeah.
She just for Nigerians, we agree with you. She just told one of her friends to go and cover that shift for her. And unfortunately for them, when that lady got to that care home, they were like, "Oh, are you this?" And she was like, "Yes, she is." And she didn't know that they've sent their pictures
Wow.
to that
Wow. Oh,
manager. This thing I told you, in fact, when me and my husband, when we were talking about, we are like, why are Nigerians greedy? We are so, agency, you can cancel agency work anytime. In
yeah.
fact, in the morning, you can call them, I'm not feeling fine. Okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
look for somebody to cover the shift for you.
Yeah.
But because she doesn't want to lose that money, you understand?
Yeah.
And she now sent her friend down. It caused a lot of trouble for her because in fact, they reported her to her place of work because she was working with
Hmm.
NHS. It was a lot. I don't even know, maybe they've sorted it out now. So the reason why chip this in was that we should just learn to be calm. At least
Yeah.
that money will come. But that's just it. Even in abroad, you cannot just sit down and say, okay, now I'm not in abroad, I want to have money, I'm going to have money now. It's gonna be a gradual thing. So that's just it. By the time we have that in our mind,
Like so,
when we come to
some
abroad, we
nurses, some
give
people
ourselves.
who are coming to US, their mind is that when they start working within 3 months or 6 months, they will buy houses in
Mm,
Blakey, they will buy houses, they will buy two houses in this and that. They will be selling cars. It's not as easy as that, oh. Hmm.
mm.
It's not as easy as that, oh. So it's not
That's
as
just
easy as that.
trying to stop. Kanye Boju Ajebi. So I think, yeah, we've answered that question, Ibironke. Please, what can you say about employers calling Nigerian a red zone area, especially in UK? I left that question for you, sir.
Well, I think
I about things.
I have seen that kind of thing. I remember when I applied for work. I applied to UK when I was in Nigeria, to UK, to Ireland. So they sent messages that we are sorry, we will not be able to employ because WHO has listed Nigeria as one of the countries facing acute shortages. So because of that, we want to obey that WHO law. So and then recently, I also saw that because some nurses have called me that they have passed their CBT and IHS for
Mm,
UK. They have applied to many companies, and the companies will tell them that they cannot recruit them because Nigeria is also facing acute shortage.
mm,
So I think that red zone means that Nigeria has been listed as one of the countries that needs nurses, that is
yeah,
experiencing acute
well,
shortages. So it will be unfair for another country to be, doing,
wait, do
something like that from a country
yeah. Stop,
that is not rich in nothing. I mean, that is not rich for
mm,
nothing. So it's like
mm,
you are causing more havoc to this country. But that is not really an excuse. They are just in that to cover up.
Don't mind them.
We still have
A lot.
agencies recruiting nurses from
That is it.
Nigeria to UK. So why didn't this agency say that they cannot recruit you because you are from Nigeria?
Mm-hmm.
Because Nigeria is part of the countries that are also experiencing shortages. So it's just a way to push
Try to.
nurses, beside. Even in US
Yeah.
too, they say the same thing in US too. You see
Uh-huh.
some employers tell you that US is trying to follow WHO law because we don't want to recruit from a country that is also experiencing acute shortages of nurse force. So because of this, we will not be able to continue with the application. Why
Mm,
are other agencies recruiting nurses from Africa or from countries where there are shortages of nurses?
mm,
So what
mm.
excuse do they have?
Exactly.
So why is it not something that is a universal? So if an agency
Mm-hmm.
says this, another employer says you are eligible for employment. So what law covers those ones?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there's kind of, you know, a kind of I don't know what to say. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe
Just want to use it as an
yeah,
that's
like an
just
excuse, like
yeah, and that
uh-huh.
is the reason why, like I used to say, if you want to do your own interview as well, you need to prepare well. You
Yeah,
need to sell yourself,
exactly.
convince them, let them know that yes, you are good for the job. I'm still
Yeah,
gonna make a video of that. I'm already planning to do that. So those are the things. You see, if you go for an interview and you didn't do well, you didn't sell yourself. You see, these Oyinbo people,
mm,
they want to hear from you. They want to
yeah,
see that. So if you
yeah,
don't do well in your exam, that's what they will keep on telling you. You
yeah.
understand? So you have to prepare well. Interview now is now like
E-
preparing for IS. I won't lie to you.
exactly,
You just have to
exactly.
prepare well for your interview. That's just
For instance, now in US, if you're applying for a nursing job in US and an employer sends you a checklist, you call it
mm,
a skill checklist. You know, that's a skill checklist will be based on your specialty. Maybe let's say you're working in A and E, they will send you a skill checklist appropriate for A and E. And
mm,
while filling that skill checklist, you are it is graded 1, 2, 3, 4. Like if you choose 4, it means that you are very experienced in that skill.
mm,
Maybe in terms of cannulation now, putting an IV line. So you choose 4. Where that you always do cannulation for your patients. You are
mm,
very experienced, or maybe NG2 insertion. You choose 4. That means that you always perform NG2 without vibration. If you choose
mm,
3, it means that you are experienced. You can teach others. But 4 means that you are very experienced, you are vast. So it's either you choose 3 or 4. But now you don't have experience in putting in NG tube, you don't have experience in putting in IV line. You should have chosen 1. 1 means that no experience.
mm.
2 means that you seldomly perform those skills. But
Yes.
because you want a player to say that you now choose 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Now during interview, they are not
You are now
they are not asking
mm,
questions on those skills.
serious,
So
and you are
your
unable to answer well.
so your responses will
We
tell
show
them whether you are lying, and they
exactly.
won't tell you are lying. They have
Yeah,
they won't.
no, one will not confront you. They don't like confrontation.
So now they will not tell you. So they're not telling you, unfortunately, we cannot continue
Mm,
with your so.
mm,
Because
yeah.
during your interview, they assess you physically, they assess your flow of communication, they assess your skills, your confidence, and so on. And
Mm,
then what you put in your application is not what they are saying. There's
yeah.
incompatibility. They just say no,
Mm,
this is not the person
mm,
we can employ.
yeah. So
Even
at least
even if you're choosing 4, 4, 4, make sure you go and read about those things.
exactly.
go and go and read about those things so that at least you have ideas, you are prepared. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay. Thank you for that question. I mean, for
yeah,
that answer. So This is Ayo Daramola. She said, "What are the medical conditions that can deny a nurse working in US?"
Mm. There's no medical condition. All nurses, irrespective of medical condition, have the
Mm.
right to work in the US.
Yes.
There's no
Even in
segregation. But what type of work can you do? For instance,
mm.
if a nurse has a disability, like maybe motor disability, he cannot move his hand, they may assign a post for him, or they may assign a duty that will not involve direct patient care.
Mm.
Understand? So whatever your condition is, you can. But the only thing is that even if a nurse has metal, even not, there are many nurses that have metal, and they're still working
Illness.
perfectly.
Yes.
So
As much as it
the,
doesn't affect your job.
so if you have medical condition, just look for a duty or a work that will not aggravate the symptoms that you have, that will
Mm.
not make you to visit hospitals regularly. Look for
Mm.
easy work in nursing. You can work from
Yeah.
home as a nurse.
Yeah.
You can work
Mm.
in a less acute area, you know. So don't, for instance, a person who is a sickle cell patient is now working in AIE, in a busy AIE environment, that can't really work. So
Mm.
you can, except if the nurse is mentally unable to make decisions. Like
Mm.
the person cannot even make decision for herself.
Mm-hmm.
That is not even there. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Thinking is wrong
Yeah,
and everything.
exactly. So
That's the only thing. Apart
yeah.
from that, when you are stable, you can do your job perfectly.
Even even if you have a BSN, you can lecture in the US. You can lecture the CNAs. No, you can lecture nurse assistants, people. You can lecture student nurses who are doing their associate degree in nursing. You can lecture if you cannot work in the clinical setting, and if you have a master's, you can lecture because the universities, colleges are also short staff of those educators. So if you have a master's degree or you have a BSc degree, you can be a clinical instructor. So you don't have to be in the hospital to work. You can just be a clinical
Mm.
instructor, teach students, and you still get your money. So
Mm.
that is other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we don't have any other questions. Do you have any other questions, guys? This is another person greeting you. Ani Fowo
Ah,
Sheogundi. Just
how
Ibrahim
are you,
greeting
Nurse
from.
Segundikpe? Long time.
I just love we nurses. We usually know each other. Before you know it, somebody knows somebody, and then we start.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim, for
you're
joining. We
welcome.
enjoyed
You're
your
welcome.
session, honestly.
And it's my pleasure to be here as well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
thank you so much. Guys, can you show some love to Mr. Ibrahim? Tell him that you really you enjoyed him, you really value him, like I used to say. Just let him know, okay? So, and before she go, she's on he's on YouTube, okay? And his YouTube name is Davant International Nurse. I
Consult.
think, yeah, I didn't pin it. I
Yeah.
wanted to pin it, but
Devon
so
International
Davant
Nurse Consult.
International Nurse, DAVANT International Nurse. So
And
please,
Devant International Nurse
nurses,
Consult.
consult.
Yeah.
Good, yeah,
So,
consult. So Davant International Nurse Consult.
yeah.
So please follow him, okay? Please, nurses, let's learn how to support each other. In fact, you really impressed me today because I've already, I posted an hub and I told you, nurses, support your girl. And honestly, Boju me there, like somebody said, yeah. So thank you so much for that. And please, I want all of you to go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow him on Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
Same name, Davrant International Nurse Consult.
Consult. Yeah.
So follow him today. I want him to see, people coming and say, "Oh, it's because I went to Nurse Kevin's page." You understand?
Yeah.
So please, guys, as you are living here, as I'm gonna be, going off, please kindly go to his YouTube channel, subscribe, and
Oh,
also follow his page as well. Okay. So Kemi, thank you for bringing my brother for me to see again. Hey, yeah, that's so lovely. You're welcome, ma. You're welcome. So,
Somebody is asking the
guys,
question here. He
okay.
asked that what advice can you give a nurse who has the USS interview? I think we've said that don't be too overconfident. I mean, don't be overconfident. Know your
Yeah,
strengths and weaknesses. If you go
exactly.
to Google, you will just type how to prepare for interview as a nurse. You will see a lot of informations that
Mm,
help you to prepare for it. And then your CV as well. Ensure that your CV is detailed enough.
mm,
And during your interview, don't say anything that is contrary to what is your CV. So study your CV very well. Study yourself. Study your communication pattern. The
mm,
flow of communication. Study it. Practice and practice and practice. And then if they ask you a question that you don't know,
mm,
just tell them you have no idea
mm.
instead of telling lies.
Yeah,
And if they ask you a question but you can't really hear what they are saying, you have the right to tell them to repeat what they said, so that you can understand what is being asked. So, but the most important thing is that know your strengths, know what you are good at, know your weaknesses. Go online, go and read the interview tips for nurses. You can just type tips for nursing interview, question and answer. There are many materials on that because I used that when I was preparing for my interview, and it really helped me a lot. So it gives you
mm,
confidence to speak, and to
mm,
really be successful in your interview.
mm,
So
mm.
that's that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I know you've said a lot about being patient whenever you want to come to UK. I
Yeah,
mean to
yeah,
US anyway.
yeah,
So just give them brief advice about every other thing that you have said, and then we'll leave you
yeah.
and you.
So the summary of everything is that if you have
Mm,
made your mind to come to US,
mm,
remember that it's not a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months process. It's a long
mm.
time process, but it's really
It is.
worth it. It's really worth
Mm,
it. So the
mm,
long stay is really worth it.
mm,
So just be patient. While you are waiting, it may seem like God is not answering your prayer. You have prayed and prayed. The USI is rejecting your application. You will go one day. You will
that's it.
go. So, but while waiting, use that time to save.
Mm,
To save and save and save and save. Use that time to equip yourself with skills and knowledge.
mm. Stop
We exactly.
actually.
So use that period to prepare yourself mentally, academically,
Mm,
operationally. You can be
ex-
watching YouTubes on how to do some skills that
mm.
because in the US there are many skills that nurses do that in Nigeria that only doctors do them. So go to
Yeah.
YouTube, watch them.
Mm,
Cannulation, catheterization, NG tube, bladder scan, all those things. Watch them. The more you watch those programs, the more confident you will be when you come here.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
don't boot over the long process of US. I know it's not
Mm,
easy. It can be very
mm,
frustrating. It will be as if the world is coming to an end, that God is not answering your prayer, that even
mm.
people that you both started with, they might have left and you're the only one left. That could also cause some kind of
Yes,
frustration.
yes.
So in that period, your time will come.
Mm,
Your time will come. Your
definitely.
time will come. Just be patient, and be
Mm,
patient. Prepare yourself. Equip yourself with skills. Equip yourself with and save more money for your
mm,
immigration.
yeah. Okay.
So one another nurse asking the question
Me?
here. Please, can you please
Oh,
explain briefly the route to direct employment for anyone? Yeah, I already posted. It's on my YouTube page. There are many
good,
complaints that you can apply
good,
to if you have passed NCLEX. So go to
good.
that YouTube page, Davant International Nurse Consult. Go there. You
Yes.
will see a lot of complaints
Mm,
looking for nurses with NCLEX. Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Wow. Can you hear that? Please, guys, just go and support him, okay? Go there, subscribe. It's going to help you as well. Let's help each other. That's how to grow together. You understand? So go there, watch his YouTube videos, then you get all this information from there. Okay. So he has spent more than 2 hours. Let's just leave him. Let him go. Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. We really, really enjoyed
Yeah,
you. Thank you
welcome.
so. Thank you. And I hope if I call you next time, you are gonna come.
I'm always available, and thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome. So help me
Yeah.
to greet the family, the kids, and your wife. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm regards to your family as well.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
will. Yeah, you are welcome, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.